How we doing? We up? We up and running? How's it going? Sorry I've been gone a little bit. How we doing? El Kevo, Princeton Phalanx, 59, Cringe McCringle, how you guys doing? T-Farmers 2002. Nice to see you on the Friday. Hope you guys have had a decent week. It's been rainy here for some of us, yeah? Alright, sounds good. I have been doing commissions and weird things and taking care of stuff. So I have been worn out. I haven't had the energy to do some podcasts in the last couple weekends with everything going on. So I apologize if you guys have had a drought. Haven't had something to listen to on a Friday night, but I'm here tonight. I thought I'd go through some my new obsession and catch up on some toys I bought and, catch up on a bunch of stuff. But I was going through an old computer and most importantly remote disk drive and going through some old Transformer discs that I found in my travels. So I pulled out a few things to show here today that I thought would be funny. Mostly photos, not really design stuff exactly, but still fun stuff. Wow, here we are. We got the cat. Alright, this is Jiro, everybody. Playing along. He's usually a guest. I have painted the saber-toothed cat skull. The gentleman who sent it to me gave me permission. He said go for it. So going back a few podcasts, lives, this saber-tooth skull I turned into Battle Cat or Cringer skull. I'm considering this part of my deconstructing pop culture project. Those of you who follow me on the Instagram probably saw the painting. That I did, that I've had in the background. Some of you have seen it, of Castle Grayskull, kind of busted up. So yeah, I was having fun with that one. It's done with just a certain kind of ink washes mostly, and a little bit of acrylic. It was pretty well rendered, trying to give it a naturalistic look. So I kind of just added color to the render that was already there, so I didn't have to do too much. Bop Pop Rabbit, how are ya? Ninjatron, how's it going? Chris, Alan G, hello. Hans Lee, how you been? It's been a minute. Yeah, so that's the Cringer skull. So yeah, going back a few lives, that's something to talk about there. Lately, I have gotten into the latest Transformers obsession, blockies. As you may or may not know, I work at an independent toy store here in Ohio, and we carry blockies. So every once in a while I've been treating myself. Got a nice little range. They're all pretty standard. That's the only kind of cool variant rare guy I got. I have more fun posing these dudes. I guess that's what guys at the convention warned me about. Yeah, I have more fun posing these guys than anything. And I also got a Dinobot here, but I'm not keen on that because I can't pose it. So, and then I bought the movie one, but I haven't done this one yet. So yeah, I'm definitely into the blockies. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do ink washes on them and see what, and some battle damage kind of stuff, and see what I can get out of them. There might be a couple that show up at the shows this summer. So we'll see. We will see. I intended to paint on them when I bought them. And yeah. So I've been getting those. Got Inferno and Jazz and the actual Omega or Ultra Magnus. I was curious about the cube. How often do they come with the cube? Is it just Ultra Magnus, or is that a random thing? Did I win the lottery of goofy plastic? Wasn't very clear on that one. So, hope everybody's been doing well. Again, apologize for the little bit of a break, but just different stuff going on. Tough to stay motivated. Independent artist life, that's how it goes. And I've been doing art. A friend of mine, the creator of Shaycon, the Forever Man, who I work with, Rob Krause, gave me a stack of blank comics. So I've been figuring out how to work on that medium. So I will have those at the summer cons as well. As well as the sketchbooks. I got plenty of 3. Volume 2, I'm down, I don't know, not too many left. If I take them to BotCon, they will be probably sold through before I get to TFCon, I imagine. Hans Lee, have a good time with that. That's more important anyway. You can listen to this anytime. Good seeing you. B127 Bumblebee, yo, what's up? Dark Star 777, I like that name. That's a cool name. A bunch of RID toys, huh? Did you get any of the little basic class Optimus, Ultra Magnus? I think we did Nemesis Prime. That's really my biggest toy contribution to that line that isn't adaption. Bing Bong Toys, happy Friday. Hello, sir. Transformers Slag Podcast. What's going on? Yeah, I'm back in business. So I also bought, because this is, for you guys who you stuck around and been around with these podcasts, talking about, I buy art, or I buy toys to inspire my art. This I just saw at the store and was blown away by everything about it being exactly something that delights me to be inspired by. It is a Hot Wheels monster truck called Batitude. It is glow in the dark. It's yellow and kind of turquoise blue. It's got magenta racing tiger stripes all through it. The bat wings glow in the dark. This thing is just chef's kiss Archer written all over it. I don't know how popular this would be with the mass audience. I'm a little weird, I've accepted that. Hence names like Requiem Blaster. But I got that just because I could not deny it. That thing was so cool. So, shared with you a few of my new purchases. And last time we talked, I'd gotten Optimus and Bumblebee Did I show you that I had gotten Ultra Magnus? So now I need to find the small Optimus. And my store where I work does not carry the color change Hot Wheels anymore. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get tracks because that one won't be as easy for me to find. Crack it open. Which one? Which one? The monster truck? I was thinking about it, actually. No reason not to. It actually glows in the dark better. And any of you who know me well, I have no problem opening toys. As a toy designer and a toy person who had to go through stress of figuring things out, thinking of dreaming up whatever, getting it sold in, figuring out how to make it work with people to see your vision, to not take these things out from time to time. Working in the business, you just learn to, it's about the toy. It is not about keeping it in the package, unless that's what you totally want to do. But, they're made to be played with. I'll leave it at that. I didn't realize the wheels were so wobbly on this, which is really cool. So it can go up over things. Yeah, I saw that the Transformers were doing the glow-in-the-dark thing, which let the toys breathe. That is true. They're always off-gassing. I always tell people this. So the longer they bake in a well-sealed blister, technically the worse off they are. But that's a different level. That's a different level. Oh, one other thing. At the toy store, I did manage to get. I don't know if any of you might remember, but I collect a certain era of Technic Lego where 2 new items were sold in concentric waves, and each wave, the 2 items had special instructions to form a combined mode. So I was able to. I'm still missing a little bit of a cockpit here, but I was able to get the second of a guy I've had sitting around waiting to be able to combine them. So it's, I don't know, not much to you guys maybe, but I'm very happy. I am missing 1 now, and I'll be able to make the 5th vehicle, combo vehicle. I'm missing 1/2 of the last one, and then I will have all of those combiners. So, I do sympathize with my Transformer toy fan friends who stress over trying to find items. I have the same thing, I guess. Rarely in toys, but in this case, with these Technic things, definitely. I think it was a while ago. 13, 12, 14, and a while ago. Hey, CD Freedom, how are you? I just got myself the OG Armada Optimus Prime you helped create. Oh, well, I appreciate that. I enjoy talking. I enjoyed making the stuff, so it's fun talking about it. To that end, let's look at some pictures, huh? All right. So this is what we're doing here today. Went through the camera roll and pulled out some things. This is just a few, very few. Going back in time to 2002, I believe. This is the Takara offices. That's me on the left in the background, mid-background, drawing with my left hand. Something. I haven't done a deep dive into these pictures This picture obviously was taken by Yoke-san's head of the office position. It's hard to see here, but behind me is a hallway that's being covered by that white thing with the light for privacy, but there was a hallway there. To the left in the background was the archive of Transformers and Gundam model kits and just inspirational packaging items that they had in their office area. And that's definitely Web Diver in the front. Definitely what is happening there. There's Web Diver all over that the front table that the guys are looking at. So from left to right, that is me in the mid background. In the near ground with the hand up is Hira-san, still with Takara Tomy, I believe. Standing is Yuki-san, creator of Hot Shot in Armada and many other great toys, and he definitely worked on Web Diver. And then sitting and smiling there is Kunihiro-san, and in the near, and he did Armada Megatron amongst many other things. And then the near field here, just a mop of hair and a little bit of nose and mouth. That is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I'll remember here. But that was the gang in the office. I don't know the model in the background there. Right behind Yuki-san, Hasui-san. Right behind Yuki-san, you can almost see that whole right side is all decorated with Powerpuff Girl stuff. And that was his little area, his shrine. All right, let's see here. All right, so this is a look at Japanese retail in real time when Armada came out in Tokyo. We went to a couple different toy stores, and they had different setups. Sorry for the shaky photos, but this was literally a digital camera back in the day, and I probably didn't stop. I probably was walking. If you look there, you can see in the front there's some, looks like special deco on those mini-cons. Hard to tell. I wonder if they had an exclusive of that at that store. Could be the lighting as well, shifting some of those colors, I guess. Oh, Yuki-san was all about the Powerpuff Girls. Almost like a classic otaku fan would be. He almost exclusively had Powerpuff Girl everything. Pens, pencils, pads, you know, all the keychain holders and doodads and all that. So really funny. Really, really funny. Dark Star 777. It's because of that truck design of Armada Optimus. I became a truck driver. That's really funny if that's true. There's nothing wrong with Powerpuff Girls. You know, at its time, that was a great new vibe, retro-ish, but fresh and actiony, and you know, that was the early days of for certain type of girl power being accepted. I talk about not being able to make girl toys, female women villains and Batgirls and things. So Powerpuff Girls was a huge shift, that you could do a cool superhero show with just girls. And Mojo Jojo or whatever that character's name, epic, just top tier. I mean, honestly, top might might be like of cartoon villains. I mean, that guy is up there. He's definitely top 10, and he's not 10, 9, or 8. I would say he could be pretty high. So that's my conjecture anyway. But also, the thing with Powerpuff Girls, we talk about, fads and things coming and going and things having its time. And if you don't have a hook, it's just going to come and go. Once people have enough of the story, that Powerpuff Girls they've tried to bring back a few times, and it seems to be some sort of magic in a bottle moment that made it popular when it was popular, because it haven't been able to recapture that magic, even though they're very charming. But that's my take on it. So here's some more. At retail, you can see the different packaging here. You can see that some of them have windows. There's a Demolisher with a closed box and a blister box. One of those may have come with more Minicons. I don't remember. The blue boxes are the Destrons, and the red boxes are the Cybertronians. For the hero villain separation, you can see the Super Optimus up there, which was a closed box. Here's a big pile of Transformers. This was when I believe that Subaru was launching. Look at that. Look at those Unicrons. Just a stack of Japanese Unicrons and overloads and more of that. I guess that might be the Redeco Demolisher. I don't know. You can see the Minicons in the background on the left on a peg. That's how the Japanese Minicons were packaged. So pretty fun. Okay, so that was Japanese retail. You could see that there was a lot of TVs around. There was often, like on the left there, that had a stand display. See the TV on the lower part there? Display. TV on the upper part there. They really, when they promoted a show, they really, or a product line with the show and all the other doodads, they promoted it. Even if it's let's call it a spade. It's a crappy little TV up there, but it's showing you what this stuff is about. So that, that's just how it works. Let me see. I'll play a little game with y'all here. Well, actually, let's check out these Choroqs or whatever. Oh, look at that. Got some. Is that Ninjatron? Is that Kamen Rider there? Or just some other has-been show? So you can see the My Clone thing there. PVCs, huh? I don't, those were obviously something that Takara did in the Japanese market. Yeah, let's move this around. Alright, so on the far right in the next, that stand, that's the pile of Unicrons. Oh, the white boxes are all the Redecos. That's what it looks like here. Thundercracker and Red Alert. And then the Demolisher here. They have these white boxes. So they must have tried to make them a little more special. Jetfire Megatron there. All right, let's close that one. You want to try another one of these? Those aren't as sexy. All right, let's pump this one up. You won't believe. You will not believe the mountain of unnecessary but development parts of comic books and posters and calendars that I went through today on the Dreamwave stuff. I have so much of the early Dreamwave stuff, it's crazy. So look, you can see Takara here. They launched with both the 7 driver and the 8 driver when they put out the new Subaru Impreza there. Those were the 2 teams, I guess, within Subaru's livery. So, what's in the background here? We got another Tomy item. Some sort of gun. Yeah, some sort of gun. I find that the things you don't mean to take the photo of sometimes on these old photos are the fun things. Yeah, there's the mini cons. Some sort of display in the middle there, selling some sort of faux food. Must have been a PVC box kind of thing. Whole little Japanese apartment kitchen, looks like. Interesting stuff. Well, Dark Star, welcome to the chat. Appreciate what you do, man. Things got to get to where they got to get. Somebody's got to do it. So, glad Optimus inspired that. So thank you. Have a good night, sir. Yeah, packaging. I mean, packaging always should be important, but everything in the world has gotten minimal. You know, I mean, things are trying to get more flowery now, but toys kind of always lag. Right now, they're all very slick and cool. I am time traveling a little bit. We're gonna keep time traveling, to be honest with you. Okay, let's bring up another top. Well, we'll bring that up in a minute. Let's just keep in the vibe here. All right, so now that I'm gonna bigify these pictures, let's go ahead and just do that from the beginning for this one. This is back in my office in early Energon days, I would say. So that is my picture of a Spark. I must have been trying to sell people on the Spark. The Armada toys are out, clearly packaged. I got all the Japanese stuff there. These are my shelves. I got some odds and ends there. We were doing all the Toys R Us G1 reissues, so that is well represented in the front row there. A lot of my web divers on that shelf as well. So this pretty much was my Japanese shelf in a way. If you can see Hotshot there, right to the left of Hotshot, that blue and green thing, that's a cassette from the Microman era with magnets on their feet. That tooling died on that production wave. Yeah, so this first shelf here was largely my Japanese shelf, even though you can see the Beast Machines plane back there. But that was is that a Redeco of some sort? Right there to the right of Ultra Magnus in the back next to Web Diver. I feel like that is Jetstorm in a weird colorway, but I might be saying that wrong. Yep, and then we got Sideways, Micromon. There's some Galgaigar there going up to peeking on the right side here. All right, second shelf. I got some odds and ends, Armada and car robots. BotCon Cyclonus. That's right. I knew there was a redeco in there. Yep, you can see my CAT scan in there. And if you look right next to that Optimus picture, you see that pink and yellow weird thing? That's a prototype package. I forget what was in there, but one of the G1 things was packaged in a rando whatever. That's my Optimus Prime lunchbox. I still have that. Going up to the top row. Got a Medabots thing in there. A lot of my Galgaigar stuff was sitting up there in the sun. No idea what happened to that stuff. No idea. And there's all the scale guys from Armada. Pretty interesting. What do you guys think about this? Interesting? I know, funny stuff. Alright, we're gonna do this again. This one should be more obvious what we're looking at, I hope. I have photos of my office. I suppose a lot of us do, going back to my early days. So at one point, I was on 2005 boards as Orson. You can see right there on the bottom right, that is Orson Welles, voice of Unicron in the movie. There's a reason I chose that name. I like Orson Welles. Alright, so here's my shelf at this time. Largely Armada guys, Minicons in the front. There's a combiner of the micro guys in the back. Hey Marcelo, how's it going, brother? How you doing? Already got the redeco, already got signage back there, so this is a couple of BotCons in. Got the redeco of Optimus already, so this is definitely development of Energon time. Let's see here. So this was the view. On the bottom here is my panoramic bullshit of the view from the Takara offices that we used often. To the bottom left there, that wooded area is where we'd have barbecues. Let's see there, you got a Chaos Effect Velociraptor there. You can see a little Batman cape peeking through. From one Orson to another, brother. There you go. The white robot. Let's go back. Oh, this big guy. Funny enough, I think that's big guy. Is that what his name is? The Rusty and the robot. Big guy and the Rusty robot. Something like that. Frank Miller made him up. It was a Dark Horse comic. They had a cartoon. I bought that toy when it came out. That is my toy. That is yellowing over time. For those of us that deal with that. the tops of his shoulders and forearms where the sun just light hits him has bleached out. And then that is my Skylinks there that I still have hanging at different times in my office in other podcasts. All right, so let's get back to this edge. You can still see I have some RID characters sitting around there too with my Minicons. And then we're really just talking up to the left there, and that weird package you can barely see with the red interior, that was Takara's moon character, some sort of warrior from the moon. Yeah, Rusty the Rope. Yeah, that's the one. So this is just all the packaged deluxe items that were out at that time. So just thought it would be fun to dissect that a little bit. And then I've been meaning to talk about this, but I have been so busy I haven't even promoted this very well. But I'll be at BotCon in a couple of weeks in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A couple of guys here. Michael C. Hill is going to be there. I always have a good time talking to him, even though it's usually pretty brief. Been trying to get him. I want to get him on the podcast. He wants to come on the podcast. Just trying to figure out there again how to make that happen. It's not my normal default, and I haven't gotten into it yet. But he's always, he was there back in the day, so it's fun to see those guys like Flint Dilly. He'll be there as well, amongst many, many others. I just couldn't download all the stuff. But yeah, and that's the last one. That's me at Kenner back in the day, somewhat early days. That's my first office right there. That's the photo from my first office. That's how I think of that. And that's the wall that Steven Spielberg came into my office to check out. Right, Laserbeak is up there. He was like, the way my office was, he was positioned to be like overlooking a hallway behind, so it was kind of like a faux, like the security bird, right? That's what I was playing with there. So we covered some office stuff. All right, so you guys find this interesting? Let's see if I can find some other doodads that are worth popping in here. Have I shown this one? Let's see if we can out some people. All right, so this was, I believe, my first BotCon. That is Josh Izzo. Might have been the second BotCon. I don't remember. Is that the old Fort Wayne Ballroom? So, that's Josh Izzo from Hasbro. I think he's talking to Gus. I think that's Gus in the red shirt. I could be wrong. And that might be Monzo in the red shirt looking into the case that you can't see his face. I think I can recognize a few people in this photo. Anybody? the skull over my shoulder. That was a gift sent to me by a friend named Stuart, who I see at shows and buys art and stuff, and he heard my conversation about the that I collect bones, and he sent me that, and then I immediately was inspired to make it Cringer, so I did this. Sorry. It's not something you can necessarily buy, as far as I know. But that is the guy right here in the red shirt, looking to the right into the case. You can't see his face. On the table there too, you can see if you are a Patreon super member, you could recognize this. I believe everybody got one of the postcards of the era promoting Alternators. Wow, how big can we get? Maybe that's not Gus. But is that in the red shirt right there? Is that? I could be wrong, but could be Monzo. Huh. Really funny. Really funny. Let's see. All right, there's another one. Let's see what's on the table. What do we got? This might be the same. Is this a staged photo of some sort where oh no, 'cause the only difference is Yuki-san is kind of kneeling down, but you can definitely see his, totally what I was talking about right here. Oh my god. Okay, so the Powerpuff Girls, that's his office there. So you could see, I talk about this. He had his full table covered with books and inspiration and toys and wires and whatever, that he would pull out his drawer, Yuki-san would, and his drawer became his quote-unquote desktop to hold his keyboard and, some other stuff where he'd set his pad of paper. So you could see his office there. And then next to him, that was, I believe Kobayashi-san's office. I think, or it could have been Kunihiro-san, actually. The more I think about it, I think it might have been Kunihiro-san's. And the head of the table, this direction, where the box is here, and the window, that was Yoke-san's desk. And I am drawing something. Let's see. Can't really color adjust here in this system, so I can't really make things contrasty. I don't think they came from old sketchbooks, but old loose paper that sometimes I collect in the sketchbooks. So yeah, I'm drawing something there. I'm going to pull up a few more pictures. Notice that plate right there in the middle of that table. We're going to come back to that. Here momentarily. Let me find a few more pictures. Let's see, here's another one, that same time period. So So that's Yuki-san sitting at the main table. That kind of was my default desk behind there. That's where I kind of sat. So this would have been the very first trip I took. So this would have been in 2001 summer. When this would have been going on. So just another view of the Takara office at that time. Let's see here. Got a couple more where we're sitting in an office with some stuff on the table. Kind of funny. There we go. All right. So this is us discussing something related to, might have been a staged photo here, but maybe not. Actually, probably not. Trying to figure out Optimus, but clearly there's already a plastic model on the table, so I don't know why those images would be there. That's Kunihiro-san. But you see that box right there of churro chips, and this black box here that had like coffee flavored candies in it, if I remember correctly. And then so here's that another view. So this is me. This is me sitting next to Yoke-san in the office. Let me see how big I can blow this up. I'm doing this in a janky way, pulling on the corners. So that's me in the office. That was Yoke-san's tree, I believe. You can see the different toys. Yoke-san's like, eek, get me out of here. That's his expression. I don't know. I don't think we were talking. I mean, this is clearly late in the product development. Maybe we're developing the deluxe scaled. Did we do a deluxe scaled version of that item? I believe they did. Jiro might be staring into my soul. Let's see. So there's that little black box again. And then the plate from the previous photo. Yoke-san wisely around 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon would often bring out little chocolate cookies and mild desserts with some a little bit of caffeine or chocolate in it to keep us going. And he did that almost consistently daily during our development meetings. I don't know if it happened every day. I imagine it actually did, but it was a wild variety of things that he would put out on the table. They were always very delightful, and it really was a very helpful thing to have in long meetings, because we would go into the meeting maybe after a long dinner the night before, or just getting in, or even going out partying a little bit or enjoying drinks, and then you have a full day, and then maybe you got up for breakfast, maybe you had a quick breakfast or no breakfast, depending on your habits, and then you never knew what lunch would bring, perhaps, good, bad, or indifferent. And those little snacks in the afternoon, man, I'll tell you, they really helped. So maybe this is us developing a deluxe scaled Energon Optimus. I don't, I don't otherwise know. So, and that's a Zumasan, kind of a head chief marketer for the Transformers, and he was the liaison for the animation company on Cybertron for sure. Or maybe Energon for sure. Maybe Cybertron. Yeah. I think that's a big web diver robot on the shelf next to Overload. I'm not sure that's a Transformer. I could be wrong. Well, let's enlarge the tape. Keep misgrabbing the corner. Sorry. What do we think? Tough to tell. You know what? You might be right. We might have been doing Wing Saber. That is as good of a theory as any. More than a guess, I would say. Oh, that's what the models are. Yeah, so if you see that black piece on the yellow arm is not painted. And it has got a gun glued to it. So that is a model that they made to represent what the Wing Saber was probably doing. That is probably exactly what's happening there. All right. Jetfire. I don't know. You can see a lot of Hobby Japans back there on the bookshelf. You can see all the book Transformers up there. Funny stuff. So, yeah, now you can see that model piece a little better as what it is. What you're seeing there is a way that they were showing how the shapes and silhouette would change with Wing Saber. That's definitely what's happening. Yeah. I knew you guys would like some of this stuff. Alright, I don't think I pulled too many off my main server. I've shown this one before, but always a good one. So I believe this might have been I think that's the full scale one, right? Based on that G1 size. Man, that's definitely my office. Me with my learning how to read Japanese. I use the term learning loosely. Let's see what my email was talking about here. Yeah, Aaron Archer, something. So, yeah. So, this was a gray model. I don't know if we're talking about this one, but this is a molding tool right here. So more than a prototype. I mean, I guess it's a prototype, but it's a tooling model, so it's beyond a prototype. Let's see. Here's another weird one. Some of these were blurry, so I didn't show them. This one's really blurry, but you can see the PVC figures up top there, and the box items, as well as some redecoed items that they brought over, and the mini cons when that launched over there. Blurry though, blurry. I'll leave us with this. As far as the photos go tonight. So I get to work early one morning. I think they said there was going to be a meeting or something. And only Yoke-san was there. And this was the Takara office. And he's like, come with me. And Takara was only like in maybe a 6 or 8 story building. But it had this interesting kind of roof scaffolding thing up on top of it. That was covered, but it was like a weird shape. Anyway, Yoke-san got the keys from the custodian, and we went to the roof of Takara because it was as clear a day that you could get. So this is in Alto, Japan, which is on the far east side of northeast side of Tokyo central area. So we're quite away from Tokyo in a way, and we're on the wrong side of Tokyo, but it was such a clear day that you could see Fuji-san from the roof of Takara, and that's what Yoke-san wanted to show me. And I thought that was pretty cool. It was the only time I'd ever did that, and it was the only time anyone ever mentioned it. Nobody else ever did it. It was just a nice little thing that Yoke-san and I had. And that's the photo I took on a, by today's standards, ridiculously small digital camera. Canon camera, but still had to been pretty ridiculously small file size. But there it is. You could still see the dome of Fuji-san at that point. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's everything. So yeah, those were some of the photos I was going through. I thought some of those would be fun to show and maybe dissect, and we did a pretty good job of that. Those are photos literally from the early 2000s. A file size was a whole different thing back then. If you tried to email a JPEG that was of a certain size, you'd kill somebody's computer. So it was interesting. So the fact that any of those are as good as they are is amazing. But yeah, I have a whole host of photos. So what that was a photo dump disc that I had made in 2007. So I knew everything that was on it was pre-2007. It had no movie things on it at all, so it might even, I don't know, seems earlier. Oh yeah, I could pull together quite a number of weird photos. Yeah, Yoke-san, not enough, you know, nothing but positive when we talk about that guy. But yeah, I had a very wonderful opportunity to spend a lot of good time with him, and we got along. Like, we actually got on pretty well, and I was still pretty young, and I think he knew that, just like when he had gone to Rhode Island alone to deal with the G1 of it all during that crazy time, to be the conduit to talk back and forth, I think he recognized my situation, while it'd be a different situation because I wasn't living there, just being as responsible for all the things I was responsible for. He looked out for me for sure. Yeah, there's the potential for a lot of books out there, no doubt. There's a lot of stories. I mean, just the Star Wars stories, people geek out about, and hardly any of the Batman stories are even told, and Transformers stories are partially told, and largely through conventions, and yeah. So that's what's been going on. Again, I've been cranking out artwork, but I still have a bunch. What is going on? Am I in slow motion? Huh. Anyway, still have a bunch of art that I'll be taking to the shows. I will be going to BotCon, and I will be going to TFCon Toronto. So those are my two main shows. I will not have a new sketchbook this year at the cons, but I will have some other little doodads that are different. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Started dropping out. I don't think my bit rate's going that great, or whatever they call it. Yeah, we still call it bit rate, I guess. So yeah, I have a bunch of that on the website. You can find that at archermonster.com, the shop. I continue to do it. I've been doing a lot of commissions, so that's what's been slowing down my production. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to get off here because it sounds like my feed is slowing down. There are storms in the area, so that's likely what's happening. But I look forward to seeing everybody in Fort Wayne at BotCon if you're going to be there, and at TFCon Toronto. So I will also probably see you next Friday. I'm going to try to stick with this on the days where I don't have conventions over the next couple weeks. But with that, I will talk to you all later. Thanks for popping in. Cringe, Ninjatron, Windcharger, Protoman, T-Formers 2002, Nova Core, Cringe McCringle, El Kevo, Paul. How's it all? appreciate you all being here. Baron K. Marcelo, thanks for popping in. As always, Ninjatron. I'll keep digging in my files. I got a bunch of art, really, a ton of art, that we can dissect the package art that did and didn't make the cut. I found some interesting first attempts that must have gone through an approval process. So we could talk about that maybe next time as well. You guys seem to like this. So Marcelo, if you're not doing anything next week, you should pop in on that one. You see some of your stuff, a lot of Don stuff, some Pat Lee stuff, but Windcharger, Marcelo, Baron, everybody, Sabertron, we'll see you soon. We'll talk to you soon.